So today I've been working on these cornhole boards for Christmas presents. I made this one already, and if you want to see how I made it, I will make the other one right now. So the cut pieces are pretty simple. The long boards are just 4 feet long that go along the bottom edge there, and then the side edge are going to be 21 inches. So the top board actually measures basically 4 feet by 2 feet, or 48 inches by 24 inches. So you make the sideboard 21 inches to subtract the 3 inches from the edge of the other two boards. And then for the legs, you're gonna cut 12 1/4 inches on the long side, and then cut this angle at 25 degrees. And then later I'm going to be rounding the top off. And besides the bolts, that's pretty much all you need. Alright, so to cut this round over, I made this template out of a 1x material. And we're going to have to screw it on here. And then hopefully use this flush trim router bit to get that 2x4 with the same pattern. So let's give it a try. Alright, so this isn't supposed to happen. Somehow this flush trim router bit just decided to climb out of my router and then go crazy, so I almost died. So I don't think I'm going to do it this way anymore. Not that I have a choice, but this is stupid. Alright, so I got one leg so far with before my router tried to murder me. I got most of this done, and I got one more edge done with the chop saw. So with the second one, I'm just going to see what I can do with the chop saw, and then maybe file off the remainder to get it nice and rounded. So let's see if I can not kill myself. Alright, so I guess I gotta file the rest of it. We'll see how that works. Alright, that'll have to do. It doesn't have to be exact, so I just need a bandsaw so I don't have to deal with doing things weird ways anymore. Okay. Alright, so because of all the problems that I had with trying to get a rounded edge, I decided to scrap the idea and just cut this kind of shape. I just cut a couple of 45s and then trimmed the edge. The basic idea was when I drew that circular line, if I just cut on the inside of that line, I should get the proper clearance for what I need. It's not as pretty, but it doesn't need to be pretty because nobody can see it. So this one's on with that design, and it gets all the clearance. So the setup is I put this 1/4 inch here, and I have a little bit of a spacer here also. So this one's got to be like that, with the toe pointed up. Give a little bit of space. I'm putting a board on the other side too that's to prevent tear out on the outside of the board so it doesn't look ugly. So I'm going to clamp that down to prevent my tear out. And then I have these holes pre-drilled into the legs. They were 1 3/4 from the side, which puts it in the center, and then 1 3/4 from the top. So it's kind of squared right there. And let's use that hole to drill through the frame of the board itself. Alright, so let's see. What I have here is a 4-inch 4-inch carriage bolt. Yeah, and I got 2 washers. It's a 3/8 carriage bolt that's 4 inches long. I got 2 nuts, 2 washers, 1 for each side. Put it through on the outside. Get the spacers out. Put on the washer. Put on both nuts. Not too tight. Second nut ought to keep the other one. And then boom. Boom. Got both of them. So now the idea is I cut this to a 25-degree angle. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to see if it actually sits flat on that angle. Otherwise I might have to adjust it. Alright, so the whole thing's flipped over, and you probably see that it's not quite flat. So I have some options. I could put a piece of material here and draw a line right along the material that clears the whole thing, a little bit thicker than this. But if I scribed a line there and then just cut that line on the miter saw, it would sit flat. But the other thing I want to think about is the regulation size for a cornhole board should be about 1 foot or 12 inches off the ground to this top corner here. And I'm not quite there, so if I cut more off of the bottom, then I'm getting further away from the regulation side. So what I think I'm going to do is take some material like this and glue it right there on the stop point. And what it does is it helps it to sit flat, for one thing, and that gets me a little bit closer to the full 12 inches. So I think I'm going to do that because that solves 2 problems instead of creating more. So I'm going to go with that. Hopefully putting the material up here won't stop anything else that needs to happen. Alright, so flip back over. I have these pieces cut now, and it looks like if I were to put them there, then they will not inhibit the motion of the leg there. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue those 2 things there, and that should solve the leg problem. Alright, so now that we have those pieces of material installed there, I found out that if you don't have them installed perfectly the same on each one, they'll have a wobble. So I adjusted one, and now there is no wobble, and the feet are sitting virtually flat. I see very little problems with their flushness there. And let's see what our measurements like. So there is a little bit extra on this ruler. So if you take out that extra, it's less. It's like 1/8 of an inch, maybe 2/8 of an inch. What is that? 2/8 is 1/4. No, yeah, I'd say 1/8 of an inch. I'm not a math whiz, so about 1/8 of an inch off of 1 foot, which I am not going to cry about on my cereal bowl tomorrow morning. So that's good enough. I might paint these legs and stop jabbering. Okay, so these are the final cornhole boards right here, and I have the corn bags here. And Rogan, why don't you give it a shot here at the cornhole? What are you doing? No, try again. You're supposed to throw it in the hole, not at me. So I made these for a Christmas. You stop. I'm trying to throw it in the cornhole, not at me. So this is a Christmas gift for somebody from work. You knock it up. All right, Grayson, why don't you try? Stop throwing them at me. So somebody at work, his name's Bobby. He wanted me to make these for his wife. You better knock it off. So Merry Christmas, Bob's wife. You're not playing the game right. All right, bunch of cornholios, very funny. Very funny, cornholios. You guys are the worst cornholios.